We started a series of messages dealing with grief entitled Joy Comes in the Mourning, with mourning spelled Mourning. It might be wise that if you missed the first teaching that you go to our website, www.hbcc.life, or our YouTube channel, HBCC Life, and take a look at that material, consider it, because it deals with what we experience when our dark night of loss befalls us, when it first happens. Basically, what I think happens, like probably after the memorial service, the things that you're dealing with. Also, the teaching supplies suggestions on how you as a friend can help someone in their suffering. Everything that was presented slips into this teaching too. And we're looking at Psalms chapter 30, verse 5, where the Word of God says, "Weeping may last for a night, but joy comes with the morning." Now, I wish the writer of this verse meant, when he's talking about night and morning, that was like dusk till dawn, but really there is no time frame. Okay, there is no timeline that you can place on this, the darkest of nights. Mourning is all about letting the pain inside out. We call that pain grief. And whenever there is a loss in your life, the natural response is to grieve. When that loss is someone that you dearly love, that grief is most acute. You wonder, will the hurting ever end? Oh, grief is a long journey into a situation that you never wanted. But hang on, friends. Joy comes through the mourning. Mourning. You may have lost a grandparent or a parent, a brother or sister or a spouse. You may have lost a child. You're not supposed to outlive your children. A miscarriage or a stillbirth, that is still the death of a child. It may be a dear friend that has died. You know what? Close friendships that last have been a great investment in trust, in openness, in vulnerability, affection, and warmth. And when your friend dies, something has just been ripped away from you. Your companion for all those years is gone, and that too needs to be grieved. You have to go on living even though someone you love has died. Now, you've been experiencing some intense emotions. They've been draining. They've been exhausting. You've had bouts of anxiety and depression and anger and maybe even some guilt. You experiencing the anxiety of, what am I supposed to do now? How can I go on without this one that I love? You've experienced that depression. Like you're not living, not breathing, that you're just kind of going through the necessary motions, and that's it. You've experienced anger. You've lashed out at the injustice, protesting how wrong the situation is. And according to what happened, you might even be angry at the person you lost. Or you may be angry at yourself for not seeing what was happening. You may experience guilt, that if only I would have done this instead. And you might wonder, well, are these feelings and all their ilk, are they normal? Is this normal? Or am I just going insane? Well, my friend, I'll tell you this. Look through your bloodshot eyes and see the people around you. The people at work, the people at church, the people at the store. You know what? You are the only one that is normal. Yeah. So the answer is yes. Those feelings and the struggle and the suffering, those are all normal. Sylvia Perdue, she paraphrased Psalm 31 while she was dealing with some emotional exhaustion. And she writes this. She says, "Lord, where are you? I seek refuge in you. I need you now more than ever. Lord, can you hear me? I'm slipping, Lord. The ground beneath my feet has crumbled away. I'm exhausted. My eyes struggle to see. My strength fails. My bones waste away. I'm losing myself in this misery. I'm sinking into deathly emptiness." Are your feelings normal? Yeah, they're normal. God's word will comfort you if God resides in you. God will hold you together when you're falling apart. Call out to Him in your time of trouble. Acknowledge your need. Believe that Jesus can meet that need. Commit yourself to following Jesus and ask God to fill the hole in your soul with Himself. See, He's an anchor in a time of storm. He is the light in the darkest of nights. He'll get you through. He'll get you through. Now those feelings, which have been unbearably intense, are now gradually receding. Oh, your heart is still heavy with sorrow, but no longer do those emotions body slam you into the dirt and stomp you in the face when they attack. Yeah, you're still hurting. And those feelings need to be dealt with. Your ability to think clearly, to think logically is returning. And you may not feel like answering the question, but what do I do now is the task ahead of you. You've now entered into the middle of your night. You can't even imagine it yet, but my friends, joy will come through your mourning. Grief is painful. It is painful, and we tend to do all we can to avoid it. But with this kind of suffering, you must embrace those hurtful emotions. Grant and I, we were whitewater rafting on the American River, and we took an unexpected bounce, and we were both tossed over the side into the rapids. Now, in whitewater, you almost instantly will exhaust yourself if you try to swim against the current. So what you're supposed to do is stick your feet out in front of you, arch your back, raise your head a little bit, and then use your arms to help steer in the current to bring you to some type of safety, someplace where the water's not taking you away. And it's much the same with grief. You have to embrace the pain or you will be swept away and drown in it. So you embrace the pain by first acknowledging that you're loaded down with it. To embrace your pain, here's some good advice. The first thing you need to do is breathe. Breathe. When you begin to feel overwhelmed in the middle of your night, just stop and take deep breaths. Inhale. Fill the capacity of your lungs and hold it for 20 to 30 seconds. And then just let it out slowly. It's amazing how doing this several times will help you deal with your pain. After breathing, you'll be able to recognize what you're feeling. Name it. I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm distressed. Be honest with what you're feeling. Bring it out of the shadows. Bring it out into the open. That mourning, that bringing your soul ache out in the open, see, that lets you express the pain. You know, you can also give yourself a time limit for expressing the pain. I'm going to cry for the next 5 minutes, and that's it. I'm going to yell into my pillow for 5 minutes to express my sadness. I'm going to hit this punching bag for 5 minutes to get out my anger. I'm going to smash aluminum cans to express my frustration. I'm going to watch the grass grow for 5 minutes, and I'm going to watch the clouds go by to let my feelings of depression out. I'm going to have a pity party for myself, but I'm only going to take 5 minutes. And in those 5 minutes, I may even ask all the what ifs to get my feelings of guilt expressed. And then after your 5 minutes, take those deep breaths again. Take them again. So to embrace your pain, go with the flow. Don't fight against it. Breathe. Name your pain. Create a time limit to express what you're feeling, and then breathe again. What you don't want to do is to bury your pain. You don't want to bury it. Buried pain rises from its grave to wreak havoc, creating more unnecessary suffering. You don't want to do that. You don't want to self-medicate. All you do if you self-medicate is to dull the pain for a short while, and dulling is not dealing with it. No, you have to embrace your pain. You see, as you embrace the pain, it loses its power to incapacitate you. I use a journal. It's kind of like a diary. And in the middle of my own personal night, I express my pain in writing. For me, thoughts untangle when they move from my head through a pen to paper. And for some reason, when the feelings are on paper, they seem to be easier to deal with. They don't seem so foreboding. So for me, it was therapeutic to write out what I was feeling. Maybe you'll find that helpful also. So to embrace your pain, go with the flow. Don't fight against it. Breathe. Name your pain. Create a time limit to express what you're feeling. And then breathe again. Untangle your thoughts by writing them down. This will help you. In the middle of your night, you will be confronted with emptiness, loneliness, and isolation. There's a sad ache of missing your loved one, especially during that time between sunset and sunrise. Everywhere you look, there are these reminders that someone is not there, that there's a place that is empty. Yeah, it hurts. You've been deprived of the company of someone dear, or maybe the dreams and the plans and expectations are all in ashes around your feet. There are holes in your life. How are you going to positively deal with the emptiness, the loneliness, and the isolation? Well, the answer lies in engagement. Engagement. Spend time connecting with new people, new activities, new outlets, learning, doing, experiencing something new. Develop some new concerns. You're trying to fill an empty spot. You might find comfort in a grief recovery group. With a good group, you're going to find support, people who understand what you're going through. You see, friends, you need to engage. Now, engage is not easy. You most likely will come up with a million excuses as to why you cannot do it. But it's medicine for your soul. It's medicine for your soul. Engagement moves you back into living your life instead of enduring it. To assist you in the task of engagement, you might ask yourself, what would the one I lost want me to do? What would the one I lost want me to do? I know I found comfort in the answers to that many times asked question. Engage. It's not easy. But you know what? In the middle of the night, you'll find that there's enough emotional energy to try some new things, to venture out on your own. It is an incredibly satisfying feeling to overcome the fear of being alone, to discover that you're okay alone, that you are okay in a new surrounding, that you are okay encountering new people. It's liberating. So to embrace your pain, go with the flow. Don't fight against it. Breathe. Name your pain. Create a time limit to express what you're feeling, and then breathe again. Untangle your thoughts by writing them down. Now is the time to begin to engage, to take those tentative steps into the new. Another thing that will help you as you journey through this time is to fill your mind with good things. Good things like the Apostle Paul told the disciples of Jesus to concentrate on. He said this. He said in Philippians 4:8, I'd say you'll do best by filling your minds and meditating on things true and noble and reputable and authentic and compelling and gracious. The best, not the worst. The beautiful, not the ugly. Things to praise, not things to curse. So what Paul's telling us is involve yourself with what is uplifting, Read encouraging books. Watch movies that warm your heart. Get out into nature. Take a walk on that mountain trail. Stroll down the beach and enjoy the sunshine. Eat well, exercise. These are all things that will fill your mind with good things. Do you know few things will have more impact on your life than what you allow to occupy your mind? Can I tell you that one more time? Few things will have more impact on you than what you think about. Think about some good things. To embrace your pain, go with the flow. Don't fight against it. Breathe. Name your pain and then breathe again. Create a time limit to express your feelings. Untangle your thoughts by getting them out of your head and putting them on paper. You're gaining strength. It's time to start to venture out. Now is the time to start beginning to figure out who you are in the absence of the one you loved. It's engagement that helps you create a new sense of who you are. And then do the things that lift you up, that give you hope, that encourages your soul. Yeah, allow your thinking to gravitate towards the positive. Do the smart things. You know what they are. Just get out there and do it. Just get out there and do it. In the middle of my own night, one thing I particularly struggled with was my relationship with God. I was angry with God. Jeremiah 20, verse 7, summed up pretty much where I was, how I was feeling. And there it says, "Oh Lord, you have deceived me, and I was deceived. You have overcome me and prevailed. I've become a laughingstock all day long. Everyone mocks me." Everything I thought I knew mocked me. Christian music and I were not on a listening term. Those sugary, sweet praises left me sick to my stomach. In my mind, I'd done everything God wanted me to do, and I felt betrayed. How could He who was called Father desert me, abandon me, take so much from me? I was angry with God. I doubted His protection. I doubted His goodness. I doubted His love. I quoted at Him and used His word in accusation. I recall yelling one night, "If this is your plan to prosper me, I don't want it or you." At times I presented my case like a lawyer would present a case as to why He was not only uncaring but unjust. How could He allow this nightmare to happen? Tantrums and complaints poured out of me. In my pain of grief, I didn't realize that what I was doing was mourning. But God did. God hadn't left me. He was holding on while I was kicking and screaming. I didn't realize the truth at that time, but I eventually experienced it. I can now say with the apostles and the prophets, He is faithful even when we are faithless. Now, during this time, it's very helpful to have someone that you can confide in. My rantings against God, I shared those in detail more than once with a close friend. He didn't correct me. He didn't try to fix me. He listened. He acknowledged. He made Himself available to me. And I know He prayed for me after my, what would you call it? My doubts, expressing my fear, expressing my anger, expressing my confusion. He prayed for me. You need that kind of support. You need that kind of support too. So to embrace your pain, go with the flow. Don't fight against it. Breathe. Name your pain. Create a time limit to express what you are feeling. Then breathe again. Untangle your thoughts by writing them down. You're gaining strength. Use that strength to engage in new experiences, new people. Engagement helps you create a new understanding of who you are. Do things that lift you, things that nurture your soul, that take care of yourself. Treat yourself. be good to you by filling your mind with what is best and what is promising. And most likely, you'll still need someone to talk with to share your secret struggles. And may I suggest someone who will not, that you will not get romantically involved with? Just a word of warning there. I believe these suggestions will help you get through your night. And you will get through your night. Don't know how long it'll take, but you'll get through. Joy comes through your morning. So the night is fallen. And now you're in the middle of your night. The pain of your loss is still acute, but it's no longer incapacitated. Yes, it still hurts. But your task is to embrace the pain, own your emotions, mourn your feelings, letting what is inside out. Hey, you're starting to think clearly again. So continue to untangle your thoughts. Get the support you need. You're discovering now that you're capable of moving on. Not forgetting, but moving on. You have the emotional wherewithal to start to engage, to discover who you are now. You can't venture out on your own. Fill your life with what's uplifting. You may need to wrestle with God. Have a confidant in your corner if you do. Hold on. Don't give up. Joy comes through your morning. My prayer for you who are in the middle of your night is Psalm 27:13. It's a prayer of affirmation. And the psalm reads, I'm still confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Father, may those who are in the middle of that dark night, may you fill them with encouragement that they will once again see your goodness in the land of the living. May I ask it in the resurrected one's name, in Jesus' name.